All right, all right. Let me see if it looks okay. All right, see that's the wall where the green paint is. It's nothing but paint with green. See so that's the house. See the house, in the back bedroom. So wall with green paint. I think it's okay. I think it's lined up. I'm gonna make sure the edges, there's no wall edges, is all green, so we can turn on the screen. Okay, here we go. I had to go find it. See, I had a letter here. A letter from the mayor. I got a letter from the mayor. And I told y'all, I think last month or the month before last, I can't remember when. Previous show, I told y'all to really write the mayor. I've been doing this for years. When Mayor Daley was mayor, I said, write the mayor. A lot of folks don't like Rahm Emanuel. I get that. A lot of folks don't like Barack Obama. I understood. They're politicians. But no matter if you're for or against Barack Obama, for or against the mayor of Chicago or whatever city you live in, you need to write the mayor or the alderman or whoever, the dog catcher. Send them an email message or send them an old snail mail message and tell them how you feel, good or bad, pro or con. I got a letter. You can't really see it. Oh, maybe I should bring it up to the screen. There it is, Rahm Emanuel. That's his signature look like. Maybe Rahm Emanuel actually signed this little card saying, thanks for the letter I sent him, and I sent him a bunch of stuff. And Mel doesn't crap on the email, but I tell him how I feel about the city of Chicago. See, a lot of African Americans, it's a small minority of them who are upset with the mayor Rahm Emanuel. I understand, but Rahm Emanuel, and let me tell you something. Mike Dumke of the Reader newspaper, Mike Dumke of the Reader. He wrote an article about. Let me actually put a picture of Rahm Emanuel. That's why I'm moving over here. He wrote an article about Rahm Emanuel, and he had a great article. Said who can beat Rahm Emanuel? And I always tell African Americans, okay, y'all man at Rahm, you need to organize to get a charismatic mayoral candidate, a candidate for mayor, to beat Rahm Emanuel. It's going to take. It's a 2-year process. It needs to start now if you're going to do it. I don't have a problem with the mayor. The mayor will be good for Chicago. But the things that he does that's good for Chicago may not be good for low-income African Americans. Because one of the big problems in Chicago is low-income African Americans. Because low-income African Americans commit a lot of crime. I'm in the hood. I'm in Auburn Gresham. Been here all my life, pretty much. I only went away for like a year, I think. Been here in Auburn Gresham all my life. And we are the problem. Now we know our problems stems from white supremacy, slavery, discrimination. I get that. I understand. African Americans are the first fired and last hired. And when you go to a job after they've hired, they're friends with the racism and the cronyism and the favoritism and all of them other isms, then they'll hire a Negro like me or you, okay? If you're a Negro. let me go back and take Rahm out of the picture here, okay? And so here we are, or here we is, as I like to say. So Rahm Emanuel is trying to improve Chicago, but one of the problems of Chicago, there's a lot of problems, but one of the problems is low-income African Americans creating crime. So the ideal, and I don't know Rahm Emanuel, only met him twice, long story, or really a short story, that if you move out, small numbers or large numbers of African Americans, low-income African Americans, the crime and the murder rate will go down. The schools will improve. That sounds harsh, but it's the reality, people. And move is not a bad thing. Texas is growing. Chicago is a world-class international city. But Texas has a lot of world-class international cities. You can go down to San Antonio or Austin or Dallas or Houston. A lot of room down there. If you don't want to go down to Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, the ATL is a great place. I got family down there. It's wonderful. I've never been to Charlotte, but they say Charlotte's nice. Not as nice as Atlanta here, but Charlotte's nice. You can move to the Carolinas. Cost of living is a lot lower. The winters are very short and very mild. So there's nothing wrong with moving. Most African Americans live in the South. I think about 55% of African Americans live in the South. It may go up to 60 to 70% at some point. And it's okay. Our families came to Chicago for jobs. They came to Chicago 50 years ago, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago to Chicago for jobs. Most African Americans are in Chicago only 1 or 2 generations from the Old South. Here we are. Don't get upset at Rahm Emanuel. The trick, and I said this on at Maybe I should put up Karen Lewis now. I was talking about the Karen Lewis. I say Karen Lewis and Rahm Emanuel fighting. That's their fight. People disagree with me. It's our fight. No, it isn't. That's not our fight. African American teachers used to make up 45% of the teachers in Chicago. Now they only make about 19%. It ain't our fight. Now that's a lot of demographic issues, retirement. But one thing I always like to say, the African Americans, the generations, my generation and generation before me, we did not raise the next generations of African American teachers, firemen, police. Now remember, I'm just talking out the side of my neck. This is all anecdotal information. I have no facts to back up what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. African Americans, because we don't like each other. We've been taught since slavery to distrust each other. We had to deal with each other. Let me get Karen Lewis out the picture here. We had to deal with each other during the segregation, but segregation as we once knew it has been long over. So now the black doctors can live over there, and the other black professionals can live over there, and middle class move over there, and the poor can move over there. The poor doesn't even have to live in Chicago anymore. They have poor suburbs now, poor rural areas. We have black suburbs. Some of the poorest towns in Illinois are where African Americans live. Some of the poorest towns in Illinois, those are where African Americans live. And like in Michigan, they had these city managers that run the city or something like that. It was on MSNBC. 45%, if I remember, 45% of the African Americans in Michigan are under some kind of city manager that's managing the city, not their politicians, because they're poor towns like Detroit and Benton Harbor. So they don't even have representation. They have represented by a city manager or somebody the governor assigns to run the town. Nobody wants to be around poor black people. And poor African Americans, even they don't want to be around poor African Americans. Crime is really, really the problem. You go in the worst neighborhoods in America, the worst neighborhoods in Chicago and in the suburbs is where African Americans live, because we don't trust each other. We have a lot of crime and everything. So thus, we don't like to do business with each other, and nobody wants to do business with us because other people will come and spend their money in our neighborhoods, but the crime is so bad. So we go to other neighborhoods because the crime is no crime, and it's nicer. So we take our money way over there and way over there. I'm guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? I love me some black folks. I love African Americans. I've been here all my life. But at another level, I do have a mild disdain for ignorance and stupidity. How did I get on that? Right to the mayor. I mean, it's cute that he did sign a little letter here to say, Mark Sims, thanks for the letters. But to write to the mayor, he may send you one of these, he may not, who knows. But the point is that write the mayor, tell him how you feel. Tell him we're gonna organize to get you out. See, people talk that yang. Rahm Emanuel, Mike Dumke of the Reader, look it up online. He said Rahm Emanuel had $2 million in his bank, his war chest. And the only person that probably could beat Rahm Emanuel, a person with the gravitas to do it, is Tony Preckwinkle, the county board president. I can vote for Tony Preckwinkle. I can vote for Rahm Emanuel. That ain't the issue. What I want is clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods, and excellent schools in the African American community. Chicago's losing population. It's lost population over the past 50 years. Chicago, even if it's a smaller Chicago, with fewer African Americans, it will still be a world-class international city. See, that's what you feel to realize. African Americans are really irrelevant. All the tracks have been laid. All the cotton has been picked. Our labor is really no longer needed. Unless you got you just phenomenal, like some basketball player, some entertainer, or somebody can write code, computer code. Yeah, okay, fine. But other than that, our labor is no longer needed. It was something about the mayor in the election. I forgot to. Let me take a break because I'm not working on a script. Let me think about it and I'll be back. I don't know where I was about these schools, but the people get mad about these schools, man. Letting this gray come in. I don't really care. I'm letting the gray come in, y'all. When y'all see me in real life, you'll see the gray. I'm tired of putting the stuff on to make it turn black. I'm too lazy. So the hair's going to get gray and gray. Maybe just stop this gray. You can't really see it much. If you see it in real life, you see the gray. I don't care. I'm a mature man. It's okay. Where was I about the public schools? The public schools, it's about clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. That's what the show is all about. Clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. Clean neighborhoods, I'm trying to see if my clock here, so I won't overrun my time. Clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. That's what it's all about. To get that, we have to raise, in the African American community, African American children who are well behaved and read at grade level. Children who are well behaved and read at grade level. To do that, it takes resources. I get that. But who's going to spend the resources? It's a chicken and egg. It's a nurture-nature argument. African Americans have to pull their own resources, which is ideal. But if we don't do that, we have to ask the state government and the city government and the federal government for resources, meaning money, to bring in people that's going to help low-income African American women teach their children to be well behaved, teach them to read at grade level. It solves most of the problems. African American children to be well behaved and read at grade level. Well behaved and read at grade level. That's what it's all about. You would agree. The school closings, let's face it, African Americans are fleeing Chicago. A lot of it because of the crime. A lot of us want to move to someplace where the cost of living is lower. The crime is high. And also a lot of us want to move away to someplace warmer. I get it. And I know people get upset because they're going to close their school down. I get it. They may be trying to tell you to leave. And leaving Chicago may be the best thing. I don't know what you want. I want clean neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods with excellent schools. That's why, Rahm Emanuel was famous for saying, don't let a crisis go to waste. I'm paraphrasing probably. Don't let a crisis go to waste. So people are upset, and it's grammar school kids we're talking about. I get it. Some of them are actually criminals, but some of the grammar school kids, I get it. They have to walk an extra 6 blocks, 3 to 6 blocks to their local school. I know that is a burden, especially when the weather's really bad in Chicago. I get that. But it's also an opportunity for us to stop the crime and make the neighborhood safe. But it's hard to stop the crime because so many of us are. I'm a goody two-shoes. And most African Americans don't like goody two-shoe people like me. They want to commit their crime. They want to run their game. Because I know they're trying to survive. Because going to work, you got to go downtown, get in your car, drive to Schaumburg, or drive to O'Hare, or drive to DuPage County for a job. I know that's a drag. And it's easy just to stay here in the hood and hustle and make some money than drive 30, 40 miles away from your house and deal with all kind of multicultural situations and have to take that crap from the man for a couple $100 a week. I get it. I get it. I understand why people commit crime. I get it. Sometimes people can't get a job because they have a criminal record. And so they can't get a job, so they almost have to hustle. I'm somewhat sympathetic. That's why I tell people, when you have children, make sure your children don't reproduce themselves early. I have teenagers, and if they have children too early, we'll deal with it. But I tell all teenagers, hold off having children. Don't have children until you're at least 25, 30 years old. That's the first thing we have to tell all our teenagers. Do not have any children until you're at least 25 or 30 years old. No STDs. African American community, these kids got a lot of STDs, a lot of abortions, and some pregnancies. It's really, really quite sad. We have to change the culture. So where was I? These schools. So it's a good opportunity to say, okay, we got to walk 3 extra blocks, but this is the house that the drug guys are. This is the gangbanger house. And that's why some people, we don't trust the police, because if you tell the police, oh, these are the gangbangers, will the police stop it? No, they're going to tell you. No, we're going to tell the gangbangers, you call the police. So people like me, we don't call the police because we don't trust the police, which is really quite sad. I mean, in an emergency, you have to trust them. Gary McCarthy, I got to give Boise Edwards and Kofi Malik. Boise Edwards had a great show a few months ago. And Boise Edwards had McCarthy, what you call? I forgot McCarthy's first name. What's his name? I can't think of his name. McCarthy. He's the police superintendent, and he's basically said, "Listen here, we can stop this crime. We're not gonna police our way out of it." He's from New Jersey, New York, New Jersey. He gets it. We're not gonna police our way out of this crime, but we're gonna have to make some arrests. We're gonna have to arrest people, and that's part of the problem. A lot of folks in these old neighborhoods like Auburn, Gresham, a lot of folks are criminal. So then, and we a lot of criminals who live in our homes. The criminals are our husbands, nephews, cousins, sometimes nieces, grandsons. And so we don't want our kids to go to jail. I know, so it's a perplexing situation. We want to stop the crime. Some of us do. But I know some people say, if McCarthy stopped the crime, Rahm Emanuel stopped the crime. Why are you arresting all these young black men? Why are you putting the prison in the pipeline?